Hey there, legends. This is Warne. I'm here on a Friday because footy's already started, so it's not really like a lockout day Friday like it was. I wish it still was like that. Story for another day. Maybe Saturday lockout. That's what I would like. Anyway, we are here for round 14. We're having a look at the Warne Dawgs, see how they're tracking. Footy did start last night, so it was a pretty average game. Let's have a look at this from a fantasy perspective. It's probably a game where, Rosie, he was all right, so he was there. Now, it's a game where, and you look at my little lead there next to Tom Stewart, 66, pretty shit, but most people have got him now, so that won't matter too much. But it was the first game for a long time where I'm glad I didn't have Zach Butters. 77 for him. So it was just one of those ones. Even a Mitch Duncan there, a few people jumped on board. 74 probably isn't an awful return. You would have liked a bit more. But yeah, anyway, that's what it was. Unfortunately, a couple of injuries there. Tanner Bruin with a 49, who was going pretty well, actually. So, no good for him in the end. All right, let's just get into my team then. This is where we are. I haven't made my trades yet. I'm going to do them live today. I didn't do them last week because I was scared of just all the reversing and stuff that I need to do. This week it's actually a little bit easier. Plenty of people have had a good laugh at me picking Daniel Rich last week. That was absolutely brutal with what that happened there. Anyway, that's life. We learn. Got some notepad things written down for that shit move. Anyway, I think Roy's got away a little bit scot-free on that though, just quietly. He was the one that really looked at it, and I went there mainly because it was getting rid of a red dot rookie to him. I could have got rid of Rory Atkins, which could have got me a Hayden Young would have been. So realistically, I wasn't that many points off anyway. I'm better off for these 2 weeks. I would have been if Daniel Rich was playing, but he's not. Anyway, that's life. Here we go. So these are my moves that I'm looking at for this week. I'll start with a simple little downgrade one, and that is a Ruben Ginbey. Now, I was looking at Buller from... Buller was coming in from... What's his name? Oh, so Buller was going to be my in, basically, for Ginbey. So instead, I am going back to Sheldrick, as I sort of had talked about previously. So he'll be in. Whoever was coming in is going to be on the pine anyway for me. So I'll make that trade so we can just see what that looks like. Go back to the old team here. And I actually will go that way because I'll play Humphrey over Sheldrick. Sheldrick will be my emergency if he is all right because he plays before Windhager. If he's all right, I can bench Windhager, play Drury, they're the last game of the round, so that's okay there. Right, so I've got coin, 383k, and it's pretty much upgrade times for me. So Daniel Rich will go to, it's very vanilla. I'm going to Sinclair. So Jack Sinclair comes in, and that leaves me to 10. I'll just confirm that bad boy, so I've got it done. And then my other one was getting rid of Warple. So this was always the plan. So I sort of set myself up with a good plan for this time of the year. And who was coming in for him? Oh, Lockie Neal. So that's my answer there. That gives me 58k in the bank. And that is my side for this week. So I'm 3 down, Day, Fleet and Mullen. Because that's where I was heavy in the back line. So 3 down. So I'm only playing 19, technically 20 because I do have the option there of looping Sheldrick. So we'll see what that looks like. The only way I can loop there, though, is via Windhager, essentially. I don't think there's any of those other players I will be doing that with. So, I think that it is what it is. It's not a great team, as I've kept talking about all the way through here. My VC is going to be Dunkley, but I've actually flicked and changed my mind to go with Tim Taranto. Put it on Twitter. Basically, the podcast last night was great. Have a listen to it. Some good thinking there from Calvinator on what he's doing with his captains. It's always interesting to get into the mind of old V8 at times, but he's sort of got scared of Taranto being his fullback C. He's happy to make him his vice-captain, but he's worried about a Windhager tag on Taranto. But Tim Rosen, good friend of ours, one of our early day DT Talk friends, he basically reckons he goes to Bolton. So, and he's a Saints supporter. He knows what's going on there. Anyway, Timmy T, I'm happy for him to be my captain. I don't know if that might change. Like, I could roll into an Andy Brayshaw, or I could go the Roll Marshall, but he did actually flag there as well. Marshall's numbers against Richmond aren't great, and at the MCG they aren't great. So that is a little bit of a flag, even though Calvin's ranked him as his number one. So interesting thoughts there. I always like flicking on the buy detector so you can sort of see what's going on there with that. So this is round 14. So those are the players that are out, but obviously these guys are out as well. So as I said, I've got the 19 playing this week. Who's dropping off? Who knows? There's a few options there that could drop off, actually. The way my side is, let's hope it's Tom Stewart. Wouldn't that be nice? If that 66 drops off, I'll be feeling a lot better than that. People will be having 20s and 21s this week. Obviously, that hurts a bit. But then moving into next week, I will have getting close to a full deck. So I will have a full back line playing because Mullen will be off and they will be 6 there. This is before trades as well, obviously. Laird and Zach Merritt come on, so that would be a full midfield. I'm losing Tim English next week. And in my forward line, I'll be 2 down before trades. Now, one of those trades could be Harry Sheasel. I could get rid of him like a lot of people have been doing. And there might even just be some other shuffling as well. We'll see how that goes. Wardlaw, the way that's looking, I probably wouldn't do that unless, of course, because Humphrey could then go forward, get those guys on. Anyway, I'll have a look and a bit of a think about that. So a little bit of an eye on next week as well, what you might be looking at doing and what players you might be getting. That's something that is important. So as I said there with my trades, I'm getting in. I'm basically going the Sheldrick move. We've got some options to look at next week. Lohman could be an option if Buller hangs around, stays there. Could be an option. I feel like I might have then missed the boat on the Robertson, who I do like a lot. Like if I didn't have already my Wardlaw running there and a Bailey Humphrey and a Johnson running there, I do like him. So if you check out the Friday Fantasy Fill Up over on DT Talk as well, I sort of rank those guys. They're probably wrong. They'll probably change as well, my thoughts on that. But gives you a little bit of an idea of some thinking around that stuff as well. So there it is. I do like to do this now. I think this video is evolving all the time of what it is. And thanks to people that comment on this. It's really nice to see that people get something out of it, which is all right, and that's the point of it. So let's have a look at our most traded players. So most traded in is Sheldrick. Yep, tick. Jack Sinclair, I like him as well. He's obviously a player that's coming in for me. You got Lockie Neal at number 4. So they are probably almost a no-brainer ins, and I know a lot of people would have done Lockie Neal last week. Sinclair was in a fair few teams last week as well. So they're there. Tom Stewart is on that list, and I know he had 66, and Roy did even put out an apology tweet today, but he's a good option. Got those GMHBA stadium games coming up, so all good. Brad Crouch, now I'm just going to... I don't know why I don't like him, and I think it's just because of that run that he had there in the middle of the season. And if you're looking... It's just... Well, realistically, it wasn't that bad. 75, 77, 83. He's coming good. Yeah, that is a pretty ordinary run considering how he went through that patch. I felt like that patch might have been a bit bigger than what it was in the sense of a longer patch than that. So anyway, he's at a price that is a good price there. So if we're launching into a Lockie Neal, for example, it's around about the same price, a bit cheaper obviously, but that's it. I'm okay with it. I'm just not going there. That's my thing. Johnson, I feel like it's nearly a bit too late. Like 406, we've got O'Meara back in. I think Roy was a bit on Fife's going to get more centre bounces. He might, but I feel like Johnson's more important role is going to be as a midfielder. So he's there. I wouldn't touch Jasper Fletcher yet. Fife. I don't hate Fife as an option. I've sort of talked about it in the last couple of weeks, but 449. Yeah, you could be doing worse. If that's a move from a peddler, for example, could be a good way of thinking about that. You could roll with that. Wanganeen Miller, I just couldn't go there, I don't think, but those numbers are bloody great the last 3 weeks. 118, 81, 107. You just don't want those 53 sitting in there. So check out Cal Scale of Hardness. He's chucked that up on DT Talk, and obviously you can get that weekly on dreamteamtalk.com, on our Patreon, weekly on there. Quick ones on the outs. look at all those blue dots. They're all the blokes on their buys. If you didn't know this, I think I said to someone the other day, I didn't know what it was. It's someone lying on their deck chair. See that? Yeah, cool. That's what it is. Sicily, yeah, it's an interesting question there too. I would trade no matter what. I think he might still get off, but I'd still be trading. Will Day, I don't love it. And that's probably because my team is so shit, but I think Will Day could be... This is the thing, that's that question that we had, Will Day versus Hobbs out. It's Hobbs for me because Will Day's close to the top. That's of his line, but yeah, he's a midfielder, just doing that. Hobbs... Things could change for Hobbs a little bit more, I think. Warpedo, good one to move now. That's a time for it. Long, the same. Mitchell, yep. Hunt, yes, especially after that last one. What was it in the end? 37. Wow. But he did get his price up there pretty well for you. If you've got 668 next to Jaden Hunt's name after you started in the fours, you've done pretty well with that one. Angwin obviously didn't make the cut this week. Jinby, good time to move. Drury, yep, if you've got the opportunity to do it. That's the thing. It's just a hard one now at 234. Like, it might be a move for me next week if I've got nothing else to do, just to shore up some cash generation, which is what it's about. But they're a bit irrelevant sometimes, those players, with their price. Pedler, time to go. Sharp, yep. Chincotta, yep, you can do that one as well. And then Hobbs is there. So it's interesting. Go and check those out under the Stats Centre. You've got to have the Fantasy Coach subscription. You click on Coach's Choice, and then you can click through that. It's always funny in buys because you can see a few ghost ships, as you can see here. That where is he? 17.9% have Rory led. Yes, they might be on from last week as well still, but yeah, that's where you see a bit of a drop-off of people with that. Right. I think I've probably talked about enough stuff here for now. Might be a bit of a shorter and sharper episode of this because we're in the middle of reports at the minute, so it's been a big day today at school. I have my Friday afternoons to do some fantasy stuff before I go and pick up the big demon from school very shortly. So, a couple of things to remember. We've got our knockout comp. That's the code. I think everyone's probably in that by now. If you're not, go and jump in that. The link will be in the description here on YouTube. Click the like button. Send a comment. Write a nice thing. Even if it's... Actually, no, I won't give anyone things. I don't want you to talk about Daniel Rich to me, for example. Yeah, that's there. And don't forget, we've got Perth coming up too. So that's our second show because the first show sold out. So on Thursday, the 13th of July. Looking forward to that. Don't forget, I did mention it last week, we will be... doing our AFL live stream from, well, it's 4:15 Perth time, so if you're able to get off work early or get there early, that'll be there. And then we'll watch the footy, which is the Swans and the Dawgs, and then we are doing our live show straight after that. So that'll all sort of happen from about 8 o'clock or so, which is going to be a lot of fun. Actually made a T-shirt this time last week on Friday night when I was sitting on the couch for the Perth show, our little trip over there, because Perth is the fantasy capital, or WA is the fantasy capital of Australia, and it's undisputed. Some people try to argue against it, but no. If you have a look if you click on the Hall of Fame on the DT Talk website, you will be able to see why they are there with all the winners that we have had from Perth. So we can't wait to get back over there. It's getting me through this last few weeks of school. We've got 3 weeks to go after this week, and then it's holidays. Then, yeah, that Wednesday night we'll be getting on a plane to get over there to be there for the Thursday. It's going to be a lot of bloody fun. That's it. Put some comments. I'll try to reply to any if you've got any questions or whatever. A few things over on DT Talk to be checking out this week, which is great. So get there and, yeah, catch up on the podcast. Some of the best ones I think we've had this year. Monday it's always weird on a Monday straight out of the game, but that was a good one. But last night's, I reckon, was the live stream, probably worth going back to listen to just for the Calvin chat on his captains and some of the thinking. I think I've got inside his head. It's good. It's very exciting that It's funny. It's actually very entertaining to watch. So go and have a listen to that one. And if you aren't on Patreon, go and give it a whirl. Wednesday night's Pointcast was bloody awesome. It's worth going on there to have a listen to the story, well, the Titanic stuff. That's where it is. It's getting insight into our lives, or our former lives before we've got old men and settled down a little bit too much. So you can go and check that out. Yeah, Patreon is a lot of fun. So jump on for a month. If you haven't got on there yet, you can go and check it out and go, oh, this is for me. I think this is right up my alley. The extra couple of, well, we've got the Sunday night live stream and then also the Wednesday night pint cast where we answer plenty of questions, but talk a bit of rubbish. It's a bit different to the normal stuff that we do because it's a little bit looser. It's a lot of fun to be doing that stuff. And obviously on Patreon, you get weekly Calvin's Captain's Top 10, bit more insight into it with his sort of day-by-day stuff that comes up on a Tuesday night. Then the Thursday night, he'll drop his top 10. What else do we get? Roy's Rolling 22 and a bit of trade talk each week. The Scale of Hardness is there weekly, and that gets updated weekly with some graphics, a spreadsheet, some insight. Jaden's spreadsheet is there, which is great. It has his projections and a few other things that help you out, and I think it's people are finding it really beneficial to be playing with. So, and aside from that, it's just a good, fun community to be part of. So thanks for everyone being part of that. Thanks for tuning into these videos. I'm trying to teach Calvin and Roy to work the YouTubes. They might be able to do some of this type of stuff at some point as well. We can get that going through. So hit that subscribe button. These will be coming out every Friday afternoon, and we'll also have our Monday podcast going up. But as I said, I want to try to get some other things up as we go as well. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Well, good luck for round 14. Hopefully the Warne Dogs can have a better week than they've had over the last few because these buys have been shit house. Very bad. Very bad. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck for round 14. Go and check out all of our content at afl.com.au and on dreamteamtalk.com. There's heaps there.